Welcome to the hotline for today, Thursday, the 17th November, 2022. It's good to be with you. We know you have choices. We're very happy when you come here and even happier when you find reasons to stay. This is the hotline. I think we're at a time in this country when we need to weep for the nation. And whilst we weep for the nation, we need to step in and take back our nation, which has clearly gone over the precipice where indecency, disorder, lawlessness, coarse, crass, everything that is completely against the grain of things that are wholesome. Those are the things taking over this country. It's absolutely sickening to watch it. Sickening. I don't even know where to start with the level of. You literally want to puke by the things you see happening. It brings on such nauseating feelings that I just cannot begin to compute. What do we do to restore some semblance of decency to our lives? The most recent act of indecency, untold indecency, has come with an interview I saw being conducted on a radio station where this guy, this thug, who thought it right to order people out of a motor vehicle in the midst of a most indecent strike by taxi operators, premised on a culture of illegality, thuggery, skullduggery, stick up and hold up government because taxi drivers dare to drive on our heads, to run red lights, to overtake in no overtaking zone, to drive without proper seat belt, to cause mayhem on the roads. And when they get the tickets pile up. Tickets pile up and they're allowed to renew driver's licenses, to go to the depot to get a pass for their vehicles, to come back to drive at us, and they turn around and indecently strike. And not only do they strike, but to my utter disgust, they tell people, if you're not with us, you're against us. And this thug orders people out in terror out of a taxi, threatening harm by his manner, his demeanor, his words. And a radio station gave this guy prominence by not only interviewing him and having him spew his hogwash unchallenged, and after spewing his hogwash, they had the indecency of presenting him a gift, something wrapped, representing the very piece of stick he had ordering people out of a vehicle. This is where the nastiness has reached in this country. And if you think this is not something for us to be completely nauseated about and to say enough is enough and figure out how are we going to take our country back, then something is wrong. And then we get a half-baked release from the station telling us all sorts of rubbish, including this release, which could never have come from them, because a release that has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. A release that has 24 words and 2 sentences coming from any media house should not end up with a grammatical error. Apart from how incredible the contents are, the fact that the error, the grammatical error is there, you really have to wonder what really are going on. The views expressed by the interviewee, Ramon Silveira, does not. The views expressed does not. We have a problem. We have a problem. All right, you know, I don't even know what is annoying me more. When I saw this sentence, I don't know what is annoying me more. Because everything comes back to is the state of decay in which we are. Not even the English language, them can't get right. Something wrong with that. You put out a release with 2 sentences and you cannot get the grammar in one correct. And on top of that, you think it's okay to tell us that something that came out on your platform with your banner in the background, with all the giggling and all the whatever that is going on, that these are not your views, and it came out on your platform, and that is it, and we must lionize thuggery. If you want this guy to have his say, he's been charged, make him go to court. If he comes on your radio station to talk, the least you can do is let the interviewee prepare herself. Come and say that this because of what he does, government is now thinking about amnesty. We need to check ourselves. What happened in this nation with those taxi drivers and the demonstration they held? Many taxi drivers listened to me. If you were a part of that demonstration, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm telling you, one of the reasons democracies work, one of the reasons democratically elected governments get re-elected is because democratically elected government, they ensure that some basic things are provided for the people of the country. The basic things don't change depending on population. We're talking about security, we're talking about law and order, social order. Some chaos will be there because you cannot regulate everybody's action, but chaos above a certain level, it becomes unlivable. And for too long, this government knew of the dysfunctionality of the ticketing system, of the difficulty collecting fines with any degree of certainty, and has not done in good time what needs to be done. And they have to be faulted. For too long you let people expect that we can be in the wrong and remain in the wrong because an amnesty may come. So when amnesty no come, everybody get literal hold up with thuggery. And we need to tell Andrew Holness and his administration, if they cannot restore order to this country by getting the systems in place that are supposed to work, their time has come. We must tell them that every single government. Don't ask me about the alternatives. Don't ask me. When I say government, it goes for government simplicity. Anybody that forms the government. If our streets are overrun with garbage, whether it's human garbage, whether it's actual garbage, whether it's whatever, and you cannot do what you need to do to make life normal for your people, you do not deserve the people's vote. And if you have had it, it is time for you not to have it anymore. That is what democracies do. That is how democracies check the system that is in place. I said it last week, we cannot be making our runs in singles when criminality is running away in sixes. We will never catch up. Never. But outside of what government is not doing and outside of what government has to do, those of us in the private sphere, by what standards do we judge ourselves? Who are the people we choose to lionize? Who on earth took the time to buy something, to wrap something, to invite this clown into the studio and to present him with this thing which was an instrument of oppression for the people in the midst of the strike? It is unbelievable. And on top of that, you see this George Wright business, yeah? When I think and I think about it again, we are making ourselves into contortionists. Myself included. And the contortions come because of the sort of nuances of the situation where it straddles criminal allegations of criminal conduct and people's rights versus what is to be expected of leaders of high office in this country. And because of the way in which we've had to walk through the raindrops, an uncomfortable situation continues. As I have said before, the moment the police declared that the George Wright against whom the complaint was made is George Wright the MP, is the moment it is very clear for me that George Wright the MP should not continue sitting in Parliament. The people of Central Westmoreland, you have no right wanting George Wright in your Parliament. Whatever the reasons are that you want him, you have to check yourself. And the Jamaica Labour Party, to which George Wright belongs, is now seeking to refoist George Wright on us, perhaps as a candidate on a Jamaica Labour Party ticket, because he never properly divorced himself from the party despite their statements. They may claim that. And this is why we have Dr. Tufton, who seems otherwise to be a sensible person. But I think a lot of cracks are appearing in our own assessment of Dr. Tufton, because I do not know exactly what it is he's telling us. Judge this man, then who are we? A man deal with him and God in his religious sphere, but we and him are dealing at the political sphere, and him and the police are dealing at the criminal sphere if anything arises. So somehow no shot no 14. It look like no time really coming. No time come. You guys need to watch it. There's a lot of discontent out there. Consider where the society is now and what is the role of government. We don't want any excuse about the inefficiencies. You are the people who pledge you're going to reduce bureaucracy and you're going to reduce whatever. So whatever it takes to reduce it, if you haven't yet done so, that is a failing on your part. You cannot control people's actions, but you need to create the systems so that when people act the way they do, as the taxi drivers have done, there can be no leeway. Too many times we're hearing about taxi drivers having 100 tickets. How that? And renewing driver's license. We cannot be comfortable with that. What have you done to stop it? In your second consecutive term. And you come to tell us if God has done this, then what? Anybody want to make peace with them, gotta feed them business, go to your church. But you can't tell we not to talk. Let's check ourselves. On the state of emergency, I hear the mayor of Spanish Town talking. Brethren, it's only 14 days it can be imposed on for. You know, here Mr. Bunting said they're not supporting it. So you don't need to worry about Christmas. Let the wheat and the tares grow together until the day of harvest. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. 876-926-2178, 926-8631, 926-7615, and 1-888-991-2080. Let me tell you this morning, be careful what you come to me with, because my spirit not right. I'm feeling very cross. I'm feeling cross from I woke up and heard about this taxi strike and saw the videos. I pray about it. It hasn't resolved itself yet. And worse, when I saw that interview, I'm feeling cross. Oh no, be careful what you come to me with. Because as liberal as I can be, you know how I find myself believing that some views no have no space. There's no space for no views. Some of no views in a democracy. Call me what you know will, some of the views them mustn't be heard. Yeah? Just like me have to see this brethren who instigated an insurrection in the United States, among all other things, if you watch the January 6th committee. The evidence is pellucid, and I live to see the day in the United States when a man with investigations behind him will make Shakari near look like they not try. The length of the investigative list long like from here so to Westmoreland. And the man stood up and announced his intention to run for president of the United States. This country that comes out to condemn countries like ours that operate a decent democracy with the transfer of power. From 1944, seamless transfer of power. And look what happened in the United States. And he intends to run for office again. And you know his largest support comes from the Christians. Wanna dress up on an argument, come to me this morning. You hear me, I tell you no? Dress up on an argument. This is the hotline. Where's my phone? 876-926-2178. 9268631. You know what? Let me drink some water. Some high quality H2O. DT, play you know that song by Lionel Richie, Jesus is Lord, He won't let you down. Find that song for me because water more than flour. You make her drink some water. I want to drink some water too. You know, Bilias? Drink some water, drink some tea. Because I have to do that right about now. Me settle myself because me can't take out my arm. Just a water may have apple cider vinegar in there. And a little bit of blackstrap molasses. Don't put it in there if something wrong with you. Although something very well wrong with me, I mean, I know. Make her drink something. Yes, Lord. Look at this beautiful country. Look at this beautiful country. What are we doing to it? Thank you, Jesus, for life. What you have there, DT? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Wherever you are, just bring peace in your troubled soul. Your calls when we come back in calm. Thank you.
This is your Radio Jamaica. You're now listening to Emily Shields Talk with Substance on Hotline. Radio Jamaica, active for the good of our nation.
Thank you. I'm ready for you, listeners. 876-926-2178, 926-8631, 926-7615, and 1-888-991-2080. Morning to you, Dr. Taylor. Hope you're feeling better today. Morning to you, Molo. Hi, morning to 178.
Morning, Mrs. Shields.
Roddy?
Yeah, man, how you doing?
It's been a long time. I'm very well, thank you.
I was trying to get you last week because I have a prediction for the U.S. midterm election, you know.
All right, but it's late now. Perhaps you can predict 2024.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You want to predict the 24? First, you want to predict who the Republican nominee will be for me before?
It won't be Trump.
Who will it be?
Pence. The choice going to be DeSantis. Second, Pence. Mike Pence.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Pence can win.
I doubt it. I think it's DeSantis.
If Pence goes in, he cannot succeed because of the trumpets in the Republican Party who are against him. DeSantis is likely.
Right. So I think DeSantis will be the man. What's your view?
Yes, I agree with that.
All right. No, but the red wave that the GOP was anticipating, it wasn't realized, eh?
Oh, God.
All right. And just as the results said, that was my prediction. And the Democrat going to get Georgia, too.
Eh?
The Democrat is going to get Georgia in the runoff.
No, man. Oh, yes, for the runoff, yes.
In the runoff,
oh,
definitely.
Yes, for the Senate. So they'll control the Senate, yes.
You know what's kind of surprised me, though?
Mm-mm.
A state like New York and California.
Yes.
The Democrat did not do so well. It surprised me because those are traditionally blue states, you know.
Yes.
But I don't know, because sometimes that's the funny thing with politics. Never take the people for granted. Never say you have a safe seat.
Who the candidates are and what the issues are there. Why?
But anyway, I'm happy that the Democrat hold the Senate.
I shall be quite sad to see the back of Nancy.
Huh?
As I'm quite sad to see Nancy Pelosi go as Speaker.
Yes, I'm sorry that, because as I said, if they had got maybe say more seats in California and New York, which are traditionally blue states, then they would flip it again.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so such is politics. All right, I want to touch our own issue here in Jamaica now.
Which one?
Before I even go on to the taxi men asking for amnesty, I want to talk about the ticketing system. And it, to me, is greatly flawed. And a lot of problems that the government is now experiencing is, to me, is as a result of their own problem.
Absolutely.
All right. When a police stop you in the state, he can tell you how much ticket you have. He can tell you which insurance company you insure. A lot of things. No, the government, not I'm saying, they say the amount of billions they made from the ticketing system. And they are also anticipating how much more billions they hope to make. Now, if you are making billions from something, it means that you're making money. Why not pumping back some money in it so that the thing can be as effective as possible? You agreeing with me?
Absolutely. That's the point. Right. Yeah, but listen, whether they're making money or not from it.
No, I agree with you,
yes.
But I'm saying...
No, I hear the logic, and I'm not disagreeing, I'm just adding to it.
Right.
If you realize that a great reason for the disorder is the dysfunctionality of the system, you don't get the chance after 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022.
Yes, so 6 years we're talking about.
Not to fix it.
And you can't fix something that you claim was broken.
No, and this is why, I tell you, even the taxi drivers, Roddy, it is such absolute stress driving on the roads, because it's not only unique to taxi drivers. Everybody doing the wrong thing.
Exactly. But listen now. I'm going to hold the taxi drivers at the higher standard. I mean, we expect better of them than the average driver, and I'm going to tell you why. These people are transporting passengers, the public, on a daily basis. So you have people's lives in your hand. Now, up to one day last week, the Lucy police caught a taxi driver from Clarendon on a construction site in Green Island who racked up 130 unpaid tickets. No, I cannot see. I try to figure it out, and it made no sense to me. What system is in place that one person could rack up so much tickets? It makes absolutely no sense.
No.
But let me go back now to this amnesty thing that these taxi men are asking for. You know what should have happened, Miss Emily?
Mm-hmm.
You see, the other day when they planned their strike or whatever and go and they pull out people out of car, threaten them and so on, I still have a problem with how the police react, because these men said they were going to have a strike or demonstration prior to they actually carrying it out. You know what the police should do? They should be on the spot where the so-called, whatever they call themselves, strikers or whatever. And everyone, you have them name and you have something for them. And those, anybody you see have in excess of 5 tickets, and when I say 5, if the 5 have serious offensive, you're going to hold on to them. But let's say they are minor offensive. You give them like a minimum of 2 weeks to pay. Anybody whose ticket exceed that, you lock them up and make some arrangement for
there's
them
a warrant,
to pay.
if warrant is out for their
No,
arrest.
but more than likely warrant would be out, because if you rack up over 100 tickets, unless the police or the court or whatever authorities would be sleeping on the job, you cannot have people have, say, more than 20 tickets and you won't have outstanding warrant for them. It would make no sense again.
If it is out,
So,
because part of the problem is the systems don't
the
appear
system
to be...
itself.
Yes, it
Right.
doesn't appear to be talking well to the next part. Court
Right.
management system in terms of traffic not talking to the tax office, not talking to
That's
transport
what that
authority.
tax office,
Yes.
examination depot, insurance company, police, all these should link up.
Them
As
not
I
talk.
said, just like the you. So
Yeah.
that when you stop a man, you can know, even if it's not a traffic offense for that matter.
That's right.
If this man do anything wrong,
That's right.
you could have that at your fingertip.
And anybody who can fix it,
All right. But
it
Miss
cannot
Emily,
continue.
I'm going to say something to you now.
Oh.
I know in the past, I tell you, I'm a great fan of Lee Kuan Yew. At the time, you didn't sound like you were. I don't know if you have changed.
No.
You
no,
understand?
no.
Or you still
Remember.
full to it.
Yes, remember there. You see, you can take portions of a doctrine and not others. Remember the system of government under which we operate. This is a democracy.
But let me ask you something. Lee Kuan Yew government, Singapore never have a dictatorship government, you know.
What they had?
It
It was.
technically is a democracy.
I don't know about that. When people can't free, when media houses were precluded from doing,
You don't do what you like.
huh?
You don't do what you like.
Yeah, but that is the very antithesis of a democracy. Democracy is freedom.
This not it.
Wait, you're breaking. You're gone out.
You hear me now?
Uh-huh.
You hear me now?
Yes.
All right, listen now. You check all of Lee Kuan Yew's policies as it relates to human rights and this. And none of them that he imposed on you is not something that you cannot abide by. Just check it again. If he says don't litter the street, you don't have to litter the street.
No. So they may, and even if they operate on what is said to be a parliamentary democracy, I do not know what their constitution looks like. I don't know what reading the courts in Singapore.
I do a lot of research on Singapore and its laws and government.
But you do the comparison with Jamaica in terms of what our constitution says.
Jamaica man needs something more stricter than Lee Kuan Yew's policy.
Yeah, but the strictures we have, Roddy, they have to be in conform with our constitution. If not, you see how everybody
all right, we talk
about rights.
All right, we keep on talking about the constitution. Maybe we need to change the constitution, because as far as me see it, a lot of things that are happening, it's not working in the public's interest.
Well, until such time, this is what we have. And I can tell you this much, that the judges of the court here are very, very liberal in their reading of the Constitution. You go back and read the Nids judgment, and there's another one which is now going to go to the Privy Council with the Jamaican Bar Association and the General Legal Council. The wording in the Constitution is given a very wide meaning, where the curtailment of rights enshrined in the Constitution is not something that is easily achieved. So whatever the parliamentary style democracy of Singapore is, Lee Kuan Yew was able to do a number of things to media entities in that country that couldn't be done in Jamaica.
I know, as it relates
That's
to
right.
media.
But even general citizenry, some things that he'd mark you, remember the times. And people bought into his economic model. Years later, they see the dividends of it, but I'm sure there was some dissent in the country at the time it was going on, but not sufficient to turn over the cart. I gotta go.
I understand what you say. Anyways, Miss Emily, have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline now. This is a bit of an interesting bit of news which we led with there concerning Jack Warner. I'm just pulling up the decision from the Privy Council. Let us see this. Heard the 27th and 28th of April 2022. Jack Austin Warner, the appellant and the AG of Trinidad and Tobago. It's an appeal from the Court of Appeal of Trinidad and Tobago. The appellant, Jack Warner, politician, businessman, former vice president of FIFA, is charged by prosecuting authorities in the United States with various crimes covering a period for more than 3 decades. This is an appeal from the decision of the Court of Appeal in Trinidad dismissing an appeal against the decision of the High Court of Judicial Review proceedings brought by the appellant. In those proceedings, Warner challenged the extradition, that's the United States Order 2000, that's the U.S. order, purportedly issued by the AG pursuant to Section 4 of the Extradition Commonwealth Territories Act of 1985, saying it was intra vires the Act or the Act as amended by the Extradition Commonwealth Foreign Territories Amendment Act. And in those proceedings, he challenged whether the decision of the Attorney General to issue pursuant to Section 9 of the Extradition Act an authority to proceed in respect of a U.S. request for extradition of him was in breach of his rights to procedural fairness. He also challenged whether the AG, that's Attorney General, was entitled to rely on a certificate issued pursuant to Section 8.5 of the Act dealing with specialty without disclosing the specialty arrangement with the U.S. And he also challenged whether the AG there acted in conformity with the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. The brief background: on the 25th of May 2015, provisional warrant was issued pursuant to Section 10 of the Act by a magistrate for the arrest of the appellant, that's Jack Warner. He voluntarily surrendered to the police, was taken into the Port of Spain Magistrates Court, granted bail in the sum of $2.5 million upon condition that he surrenders his passport and report twice per week to the police. 24th July 2015, request for extradition of Jack Warner was made by the United States on the footing of the USA order. On the 27th of May, Jack Warner made a request for disclosure of all material relevant to the issue of the authority to proceed so that he could make representations. He repeated the request on a number of days: 12th June, 3rd July, 18th August 2015. The AG by letter of the 2nd July 2015 refused disclosure of any such material and declined to afford the appellant the opportunity of making any representations prior to any decision in respect of the authority to proceed. The position was reiterated in a further letter on the 12th of August 2015 in which the AG invited Jack Warner's lawyer to agree the time frame for the authority to proceed, that it should be extended until the middle of September in light of imminent parliamentary elections in which the appellant was a candidate. The magistrate presiding over the extradition proceedings ruled that any authority to proceed should be issued by the 15th of September 2015. On the 9th of September, following a change of government as a result of the general election, a new AG was appointed. The newly appointed AG indicated he'd taken the decision to allow the appellant's attorneys to make representations as to whether they should or should not issue an authority to proceed. And it goes on, where their lawyers declined to make representations and did not agree to the proposed extension of time. And all of that went to their final appellate court, which has now dismissed Jack Warner's application. To them, the board says it is satisfied there was no unfairness in the procedure leading to the issue of the authority to proceed. In light of the conclusions reached, the appellant, on the issues raised by the appellant, the appeal must be dismissed. And it means, therefore, that he will be extradited, no? Let's go to another break. God have mercy. This is when now. What my granny say? Prison no make for dog. A man have a good day. Not your walking shop. Lord have mercy. This is almost hot. What time of the month now? 17th of November. And you fit come out of your warm Caribbean. Go US. In a Christmas. Well, I see a whole heap of people from the gang them down a mobile up there. Because US a touchdown here, you know. At the right place them go do them arms house. The US has them. Yeah? In Jamaica, you're guilty as Lucifer. But because you think nobody will come to give evidence, you deny it, you put out social media posts, nothing no go so, blah, 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 and your so-called fans, who should really be fridges, them come out, see it there, him says so, just like Donald Trump. Putin said he didn't do any such thing, and I believe him. Well, the US catch and catch and catch. And when them catch, may I tell you, all whoppy and fill up that catch. Sometimes it is the legal processes are important, but sometimes when the thing goes far down the line, the time that it comes upon you is so inconvenient. But such is life. If you're born for hang, you can't drown. 7615. Good morning. Kuya, how much fall I go crow this morning upon me?
Hello?
Roddy Fall was crowing. Who is this?
Miss Emily Crook? Miss Emily? Miss Emily?
You're coming here with your fall language this morning. Who is it?
Miss Emily?
Yes, sir. Who is it?
Good morning.
I don't hear this. This must be Peter. It's thrice the cockerel already. Yes, sir. Who is this? Peter?
No, Miss Emily. You're accusing the person wrong. First time on your phone. First time calling you.
It's because the cock is crowing so many times. I'm wondering if this is the moment.
No, man. First time calling you.
Oh, yes. You sound like Edward Newman, sir.
All right. What's the first time calling you?
Give me a name.
I used to listen to you on Cliff Hughes when you were Emily Cooks. I think you're married now, named Shields.
Yes, who is this?
Very good. You can call me Mr. J.
Yes, since you come call out the whole of my government name. Yes, Mr. J.
Yes, I'm calling from Westmoreland. Listen, Miss Crooks.
Yes.
Listen to what I'm going to say to you. I agree with you 100%. Listen, 100%.
On what?
For the expression of your anger of what is happening in the United States, of your anger of this man who was being bigged up for the wrong he did in the strike. I agree with you 100%. And every sensible thinking person, believe me, even in America, would agree with you. Now, there's a thing known as righteous anger, Miss Crooks.
Mm-hmm.
In the Bible, you have the righteous anger of Christ when the people were gambling in the temple.
Yes.
Then you will understand, my dear, we have two spirits. God's spirit that possesses us to do good.
Yes.
And the evil spirit that possesses us to do evil.
Oh, I don't know about the evil spirit.
Yes, my dear, it's in the Bible. Satan
yes.
the devil.
I'm not dealing with that.
Read the Bible, my dear, it's there.
Yes.
Hold on. And then now, I must say this. I respect Kenya, I respect Bruce Golden. In one of your and from what I know, because I've been following everything in the United States, I am 73 years old. I've been in long enough to know a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
When he said to Bruce Golden, you're a pathological liar, I believe that term fits Donald Trump more than anybody else.
Yes.
He's a pathological liar from the gate, I don't know.
Yes.
Now, you listen to this now, I'm closing off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how can America be looking at a man who has so much criminal allegations against him
mm-hmm.
with electronic evidence,
mm-hmm.
documentary evidence, and people evidence?
Mm-hmm.
How can America is going to try to put back a man in the House of Commons that he instigated a lot of people to destroy? How America has gone to the dogs.
Not the common. What you know is the Republican Party you need to talk to about
yes,
that.
Yes, it's the Republicans.
That's right.
The Republicans. They're right, my dear.
Yes.
The Republicans. I'm going to finish. There's a thing known as, I've done a lot of research, Mr. Cook.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing known as hypnotism. Mass hypnotism. Start, look it up in Google.
Yes,
on Google.
But no, I'm not going to give, because that's an excuse. And why I say it's an excuse, hypnosis is a process where people have no control over their actions. They're in a state of almost suspended consciousness. So
right.
you're literally sort of not responsible for your actions.
Okay, I agree with you.
But what we have are adults who are consciously defending the indefensible from, as you rightly put it, a pathological liar.
Yes.
Who did the unpardonable. And I do hope the January 6th committee gets to a point after their deliberation. He's been subpoenaed to appear, and I don't think he will appear. But I watch every single committee hearing. Yes. Some of the things that we didn't know came to light in the committee hearing because we saw the information that came to the FBI agents, we saw the information that came to the people who worked in the White House, and the things that were not on display are now fully out there. I don't see how he can escape the charge of inciting the insurrection, which would cause the punishment to be that he's completely barred from running for election again, yet alone to come and announce it, and there are Republicans who are sanctioning his announcement.
This guy's crazy, man.
He's free to be crazy, but that he's not singularly crazy. And there are millions going on with him, Mr. J. I tell you,
I like what you said.
The world is mad.
He's free to be crazy.
Yes. Thank you for the call, my Westmoreland. Where in Westmoreland are you?
Darliston.
Yes, man. That's why we roost up there crows so at 10 o'clock a morning time.
Yes, I want to finish with this.
Yes.
I don't know if you know Saeed Bernard on Nationwide.
I know
I listened to him this morning, a young lawyer.
Oh, he's
He
an
said-
attorney?
Yeah, commenting on the same thing, he said, when you look at the taxi thing where they're picking up the criminal man, he said that we need an amnesty on common sense.
Oh, well. That's an interesting call.
Can you be glorifying crime in a criminal and public radio? We need,
No,
You saw it? Did you saw it?
What?
Oh, yes, I think you saw it.
Yes, man, I must have seen it to have been so repulsed by it. Yes. Thank you for
We
the
need
call.
an amnesty and common sense.
Thank you. Thank you. Take
All right,
care.
you take care.
All right. Bye-bye. This is the hotline. 8631. Hello.
Hello, Mrs. Fields.
How are you?
I'm good. Are you hearing me?
Yes, who is this?
Well, they call me Sonny P.
Sonny T?
P.
Eh?
Sonny P.
Sonny P. Oh, P for Papa.
Eh?
P for Papa.
No pork.
Oh. I was talking about the phonetic alphabet, you know. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Boldins called me trailer man.
Whoa.
So we used to drive trailer and make him know, see them truck around up a deal there. It's driver in fault.
Oh.
But what I said, you know, this one, I hear your assertion. I couldn't agree with you more, Mrs. Shields.
On which part?
From your comments when you start talking, you know, to add the state of emergency. The government tried already and it didn't work.
I don't know that it hasn't worked.
Eh?
I don't know that it hasn't worked.
Well, that's my opinion. See? And the still go back in it. But I think when I don't agree with me.
But I kind of share a different view from a lot of people, you know.
Yes.
Sonny, I think this country, you see where we are with crime?
Yeah.
We are in a permanent state of emergency. Trust me when me tell you, said nothing about us is normal right now in relation to crime. Nothing. The levels that we're at, they surpass Civil War levels. Do you hear what I'm saying to you?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Any other country where things are normal, the streets would be populated heavily from corner to corner with cameras, facial recognition cameras, with shot spotters for guns and all them something and then go off, and also with boots on the ground. Any country that is normal where this is happening, it would be there. Hold on, Sonny P.
Yes.
Yes, Sonny P.
Yes, what I'm saying to her, the state of emergency, I said they tried it already, and people that kill people same way. In not stop it. People and no people are dead. And to my opinion, I don't think we did that state but just get the police the resources that they need. And just do the normal policing.
Normal policing, although it requires a bit more. Meaning, as I said to you, you see the camera business here?
Yes.
The CCTVs are needed on every public thoroughfare. Everywhere, because when people are asleep, Sonny P, camera eyes can't lock.
I agree with that, Mrs.
Yes.
I agree with 100% to all you are saying, you know.
Yes.
I agree with you. But what I'm saying, the police then can do them general work same way. The other thing they cannot do. Innocent people, you don't keep them up that truck. and that's in human condition. I agree with that. But do what you have to do, except those things. That's all I'm saying. Just do the general police work with the soldier, stop and search and do everything. You know, that's my opinion, Mr.
No, I appreciate your opinion. Other people share yours. Thank you. Thank you, Sonny P. Take good care. Yes.
I am from your parish, you know.
Gotcha. All of me Westmoreland people then come out. Where down there you're from?
You don't place in Sheffield?
Then I must know Sheffield.
Well, I live up in 1962.
And you still up there?
Yeah, man.
Down there?
No, man. I live up here, Kingston, in 1962.
Oh, you up at Kingston?
Yeah, man, the Kingston, I live, man.
Oh, when you say, all right. So you come under the clock?
Yes, I'm 62 until now.
So you're how much?
76.
Oh, click. Or that's 66. Your state of emergency, baby.
Oh,
eh?
No, state of emergency, baby.
You're born in the state of emergency. When was that? No, 76.
No, man. I said my age.
Eh?
That's my age.
Oh, you are 76-year-old, you know. Okay, that's right. Can you up on 62? That's right.
Yeah, man.
76-year-old.
So,
nice.
You know what? Yeah, man. So, that's all I've said, you know.
Thank you for the call.
Yeah.
Take care. This is the hotline. What a time. Another story. Another bizarre story that I should try and see if I talk to Council Chuck Cameron. A lot of people have been talking about this story concerning the death of the 9-year-old boy, Gabriel King. I'm not sure how the parents pronounce his name. There is a hearing going on before the parish court because apparently the court issued an order, disclosure order, for the cell phone, as I understand, of the mother of the child, for the police to have access to it. And it seems that the counsel representing the mother has gone to court. From what I hear, it appears he's saying that the permission was granted under the wrong section of the Cybercrimes Act. And 2, he needs some limits to the disclosure that the police, the limits of the disclosure should be properly set out in the order. I'd certainly like to hear some more from Chuck Cameron. Yeah. 9262178. Hello.
Oh, hello, Miss Emily. How are you doing today?
East Central?
No, not East Central. I'm called Junior Cook for the time being.
Oh, you're still Junior Cooks. Welcome. You get the minister last week.
Yes, another week. I can get not Prime Minister this time, the Mr. Finance Minister.
You asked some good question last week, so go and talk to me now.
Thank you. But one of the most important things in any, I personally, one of my mantras is that you can't negotiate with criminals, you know.
No, it depends.
Not criminals, sorry. The word is not criminals. But, we call the people in Afghanistan, man, Al-Qaeda. We call them things, you know.
Terrorists.
Terror.
You
so
can.
If you appear,
you can. You see what happened in Northern Ireland? That's how the peace deal was struck. There's a place for it. Well, that was a model that was successfully pursued. So I don't believe in black and white, really. Shades of grey are out there.
Right. That's so much things. When it's like sometimes my mind goes to lock up and there's so much. First of all, it's Mr. Warren, Mr. Judge, right, and all of these details. What kind of example them set for the students? I'm going to give an example. You hear about the students them where use gathering. You remember that if we compare that there, so a very prominent prime minister was said to have been, I'm not going to call no name, right? Indulging in some poco things and some and gathering. For example,
Poco, Mr. Siaga's involvement in Poco is well known,
Yeah, I know.
And him dead, you can't defame the dead.
Right, okay. So I'm not going to further.
No, so you can call him name because him dead.
Okay, I understand, right? Because like I said, there's a famous story that this guy said he claims he get a contact to kill, to shoot him, And when him reach a certain point to go carry it out, a tree of that man him see,
He must have did have no pressure him have, no pressure fly to your head. Make him a triple.
A tree of the man him see, he don't know what to do. You understand?
So you think that was about the gathering or that was about the person?
Exactly. So that may get back to know. So you see, you hear say these guys.
The man was sick. The shooter sick. The shooter sick and bilious. That not more than that.
So we're saying now, it is well known that many prominent people.
You can't say that because I tell you the problem was not the gathering.
Just alone. Now, when it comes to lodge, man, we get back. We are going to lodge and all of these things.
I don't know a thing about lodge.
Right. So I think I got lodge now. But I'm saying, how can you tell students so them know the indulge in these things, and that is the example I look at and I say, oh, I saw them man, they put in. So when these guys, when they, oh gosh, man, it's when these guys, like the scammers and them thing, the first thing them do is decide so them are going to protect themselves and them are going
you see what happened to Duppy Flim?
What happened to?
You remember the guy Duppy Flim?
Yeah, Duppy Flim, right.
Who claimed that is gathering why police can't find him?
Right. But after a while, you deal and people, even after a while, they think them turn against them back,
Oh, that's what you think.
My mind kind of so confused. It's like me can't wrap up things that I need to say, but I'm telling you. First of all, Mr. Clark, I have an issue with him, and in claims that in lend these guys in can give some money and lend to the guys, the taxi guys them. And in probably give the financial institution them at 2% and then them are going to lend at 4%, 14%. And
no, I don't think they can go up to 14%.
I think that is where it is.
No, it can't go up there.
That's why I wanted to come here, come explain to who are going, even if me not defend it, I'm supposed to come and explain.
I think I spoke to him about that already. No, they cannot go, their margin cannot be that wide. I think the most they could at the time, well, I don't know because of the Bank of Jamaica's hiking interest rates. I don't know how far it has moved now, but their margin, Junior, cannot be so far over and above what the government unlends them for.
All right.
Did you apply?
Did me apply?
Yeah.
Me not apply for nothing like that. Me not involved in that. You keep on a try. I think I know me see a try.
No, I thought you were a taxi man based on what you told me. I formed that impression.
Anyway, I have some things here to say.
I'm asking you for a taxi driver.
I have nothing. You keep on. It's not nowadays. I'm tell you, I don't know where you get this teacher from. I don't know why you keep doing that.
No, it's what you said to me.
Come here and tell us that these guys that are some terrorists. You sound like a terrorist. They like you.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
So what are
taxi drivers are not all terrorists.
Anyway, I'm going to close up. You remember the Patu thing that they were saying to you the other day?
Yes.
I think it's that true thing. It's that true thing.
Which one?
The ones that they say the when like somebody die, and them. Yeah, I've heard of real experiences.
But then somebody else say when baby I got born.
So, yeah, well maybe we don't know about that but anyway, I think Dr. Clark should come and explain explain because that is again. Somebody else understand.
All right, Jonah Crooks, thank you. I got a note some days ago from a listener to this program. The listener wants me to highlight this. There's a man living in Aurelia Park. He's homeless with obvious mental issues. And his presence is posing a threat to the community because he's been living there for months and he's been stoning people when they walk past. So more than one person so far has been injured, including a school child, not sure if it's boy or girl. The residents of the area say they've reported him to the police. They've appealed to their MP also to try and reach out to the Ministry of Health. And they've also spoken to somebody at the Department of Psychiatry at the University of the West Indies. They try almost everything, and they've not seen where anybody has come to administer any sort of medicine to this individual. So they're asking what else can they do before something tragic happens. So the man defecates in the open. He bathes completely nude in the open at all hours. He litters the place with rubbish, and he's not getting any help. And the threat where he's stoning people and people have actually been hit by the stones is something of a big concern for them. So, Mental Health Department, please let us know what can be done before work reach a working place. Let me take a break.
Newport for Sand Jamaica Limited, the first on the land, blenders of high-quality fertilizers. The time by Newport for Sand Jamaica Limited is
15 minutes before 11.
You're now listening to Emily Shields Talk with Substance on Hotline. Radio Jamaica, active for the good of our nation.
Did you see this article in the Glean on Sunday? Kevin Smith will return. Pathways flock continue to meet secretly, awaiting resurrection of the controversial leader. Hopton Buckner, Gleaner writer. By the way, I see that Moya Thomas is heading to the Gleaner as its editor-in-chief. Beautiful, beautiful Moya. She's of high quality, I tell you. High quality. I had the chance of working with Moya briefly in the newsroom here at then RJR, no, Radio Jamaica, was just impeccable. But here, for Patricia, this person's real name is hidden, to even accept that Kevin Smith, the late leader of Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries, is dead, she would have had to witness the reported cremation of the body of the man herself. Likening Smith to Jesus Christ, Patricia is confident that the controversial clergyman who presided over a bloody ritual in Mobe St. James Church just over a year ago in which 3 people died will soon return to lead his flock once again, and they continue to gather in secret as they await his resurrection. In a quote attributed to Patricia, His Excellency told us that we would face persecution and that he'd be mocked and scourged. But mark my word, my leader is not dead, just wait and see. Patricia, who sells clothing in Samshab Square, told the Gleaner last week. She has not been back to the Albion Road property where she worshipped for over 70 years, since the fateful night of October 17 last year. But devout members continue to worship at an undisclosed location, revealing that she's among those it can't be was here, Houghton. Where I put was for? She continues to be. She's among those waiting to enter the compound that night. Oh, she was among those waiting to enter, that's right, the compound that night of the Ark ritual. Patricia suddenly went silent when pressed for detail. In that ritual, 2 congregants, 39-year-old Tamika Gardner, 38-year-old Michael Scott, who were reportedly murdered. A third person, 18-year-old Kevon Plummer, was shot dead by the police when he reportedly attacked cops with a machete as they entered the compound to bring an end to the bloody mayhem. Church member Andre Roddock is currently before the courts charged with Gardner's murder. In a shocking twist, a week after the incident, Smith died in a motor vehicle accident while being transported by police from St. James to Kingston. Constable Orlando Irons also lost his life. Smith's body reportedly cremated in St. James and ashes brought back to his hometown of Glengough in St. Catherine. But Patricia and other Pathways members have refused to accept the man they call His Majesty is dead. He will be back. Just wait and see, Patricia repeated. Inside the building, broken furniture and debris littered what was once hailed by its members as a majestic temple packed with congregants seeking spiritual healing and change of fortune. Well, the wife, an elderly couple, inquired about the purpose of the news team's visit. The wife, a Pathways devotee, is also looking forward to Smith's return. In a quote, "You think a man who has healed people all his life, make the cripple walk, the dumb talk, the blind see, can just die like that? We know that a simple accident can't take his life, so we will still meet and praise God as we await the coming of His Excellency." Refusing to reveal details about the secret gathering, the elderly woman said the ministry is on the rebound with plans to resume worship at the to-be-restored Albion Road property under the guidance of a recently ordained pastor who will shepherd them until Smith's returned. But her husband did not share her views. Kevin Smith, he said, reap what him sow. I can tell you that pastor should have been dead long time. Look at the compound. Not even a bird fly over it. Not even a single dog nor a goat. Even the blind man can see that the place is cursed, he told the Sunday Gleaner. The husband said the property should not be returned to the congregants, but instead transformed into a police station. Oh, the wisdom of the husband. God of mercy. Patricia down there wait for His Majesty. Then she not see His Majesty. They're England. From the 8th of September. I saw that Majesty coming. The Queen is dead. Long live the King. You get His Majesty, I don't know. His Excellency. 9267615. Hello? 7615, are you there? If anybody from the Psychiatry Department at UWI looking, Aurelia Road is in Mona, near the hockey field. It's off Mona Road. So please go there and find this person and administer the proper medication. Right? 9268631. Hello?
It's Cook.
What time of morning now? How you getting?
Me know why you mix up King Charles in no D. Lawrence on the Kevin Smith business. You hear?
You get D. Lawrence at Eastern Westmoreland when knock out Luther Buchanan and you can't talk.
Mister.
You don't get D. Lawrence down there.
Luther deserve a stopping to make D. Lawrence beat him.
A real D. Lawrence.
Jesus Christ.
We make dealering. When we grew up, I made about dealering. A house a catch a fire and not when fire truck come out now burn up. And dealering see Luther.
And stole a drop a house and nobody inside. The Lawrence Luther beating down there. All them challenge it a magisterial recount and all that. It can't turn.
Good God, if what this country accepting on Miss Cook, because if I'm PNP, but like deal with PNP, the whole of Jamaica, PNP labor right and no pay at all thing Rockstone pan him. But that's not what I call to talk about. When them said the West helped create ISIS and them turned pan the West, they took over Iraq and America to go down to go bomb them, and they bombed them into Syria, right up to the gate of Damascus. And the Russians said they're going to send some they call it up down there, aid. They're going to send aid to the Syrian people. So when the two big cargo planes land down there, and the front open, it opened from the nose. Not a aid never night, Miss Cook. And the Russian heavy bombers.
Wow.
Putin sent down there.
Wow.
And the SM-400 air defense system, Putin sent down there. And he bombed them, where Russian bombs fall out on them out of the air on the street of Damascus. He bomb ISIS out of Damascus. Bomb them to the border of Turkey.
When was this?
Turkey can't come over.
When was this?
2017.
Oh.
Remember, after
I don't remember this.
America bombed them to Aleppo, you know, and he bombed them from Aleppo, because they will left and they take over Damascus. I remember saying him keep if Russia never intervened down there, you know, ISIS, America, they use ISIS and push out Assad, you know. It was when the Russians, it didn't have him up for, you know. That's why I think they didn't have him up for.
Who?
But why I'm saying this,
who have up who?
The West.
Have a Putin?
Putin, yes.
Really?
Because he spoiled America plans in Syria, America and Israel. But why I'm saying all this?
But what was America's plans?
They pushed out Assad. It was a plan to get rid of Assad using ISIS. But Russia intervened in the war and spoiled it.
But why would America want ISIS as any ally?
America never want a proxy.
Yeah, but why would you go for an obvious enemy? ISIS and the terror.
Why didn't go for the whole of the 9/11 bombers? The whole of them in America, they really.
Yes,
with
but
the exception of the Hamburg cell, one year, Monty Sadak.
But even if they live there, they live there at a time when unknown to America, they were planning America's demise. The moment of 9/11, they became knowable persona non grata to be pursued and killed.
You go back go check the history of all of them, Miss Cook. But where I'm trying to go,
yes.
Me glad you're extortionist. Me glad you're extortionist. I'm glad you defend your legal spread and defend the George Wright issue. So me glad to say you are extortionist. Mine Russian bomb fall upon you when you're walking on the street of Damascus.
Yes, but
you understand me?
I didn't use the word extortionist. I think you're a malaprop.
Okay.
I didn't use extortionist. The word I use is
contortionist. Sorry,
that's right.
Contortionist.
That's
sorry.
right.
Contortionist.
And
me glad you're contortionist.
No,
mine
Russian
bomb drop on you. And when they walk down the street of Damascus,
no.
You hear about all of them say I know him. All of them say I know him on video. When we have the technology, what you call it, that can clear up the video.
Did you use the technology to clear up the video to show us? Why you never use it? Yes.
Me never have to use it, Miss Cook.
Why not?
Because me know who they pan the me know the house. My cousin tell me what go on there already.
Oh.
Everybody know why the lady
that's good for you.
Stool. Everybody know what happened. Everybody is a domestic dispute. Everybody know. But the labor right them. Me asked the last week, them 2 women go over there. Go sit up with him. The labor right them. They go on like a then can't style the country till Mrs. Vaz and Miss Hamilton, dash dirty water in their face and toast and now give them bad injection and bad fertilizer. They tell we, say the country, say we must forgive him. Why should we forgive him? I don't know him. Why should we forgive him? I don't know him. Let them go forgive somebody wanna do nothing. I just think Mr. Tufton was sensible right across all over. You never know say it was like this. Why should we forgive him and you know commit non-crime? Miss Crooks, I tell you, you know, me tell you 2016, you know, say, go buy your water and put on, you know. Me tell Mr. Mullins, say, before sweet hour of fire, go look up, you know, after sweet, but need to tell o'clock news today. Go look up because something there come.
No,
that's
not the issue.
One ground, Andrew plant a ground and you know come in yet.
You mustn't
Miss Cook,
don't
Andrew plant a ground and not come in yet. We must forgive the man.
You must
why not do?
You must not see
Jesus Christ.
Even the tone that you speak in to seem as if you and I are not at one.
Miss Cook,
you mustn't foment discord where there's none.
Men up on the same wavelength this morning, 9:25. 9:25 is the George Wright issue. Men up on the same wavelength. I am telling you, Miss Cook, something is coming. And I want Andrew to stay there. To reap. And all I do is all the farmers, man. What all the tear people. To reap one or so. How we must forgive. Dr. Tufton, we must forgive the man and he not do nothing. How we forgive, we must forgive him and he not do nothing. I'm proper sure. Miss Cook, Labour right take the country proper sure. Yeah. But we are laughing at them. A whole heap with the laugh after them. Proper sure. But the laugh is on them.
Goodbye. Headlines time. Look here. There is a massive decision from the Privy Council relating to Jamaica, which came out today. So our news center picked up on the one for Jack Warner because of Jack Warner's I suppose that massive position and the case and so forth. But there's another decision on the Privy Council website. Bobette Smalling, the appellant, and Dawn Satterthwaite, an attorney, and others from the Court of Appeal of Jamaica. I have to read some portions of it because of where this thing is likely to go. Obviously, I just decided to go back to the Privy Council website to see they having handed down a decision from Trinidad. What else is there? And it's somewhere you have to come if you're a practicing lawyer. But this is what Lord Stevens says in his decision. This appeal raises important question as to whether a search and seizure warrant issued under Section 115 of the Jamaica Proceeds of Crime Act of 2007 POCA for the purposes of investigating criminal conduct occurring on or after the 30th of May 2007 can nevertheless authorize the search for and seizure of information or material that came into existence prior to the 30th of May 2007. Counsel for Dawn Satterthwaite, who is the first respondent, submitted that because a person can only be charged under POCA for offences committed on or after 30th May 2007, any search or seizure in respect of her must be limited to information or material arising on or after 30th May 2007. So you can only be charged for offences committed on or after 30th May 2007. So counsel is saying any search or seizure of material must be in relation to documents arising on or before the 30th of May 2007. This submission by counsel for the attorney Dawn Satterthwaite was rejected by the judge at first instance, Justice Straw, in her judgment dated 17 September 2015. But the position of the lawyer was accepted in the Court of Appeal, meaning the Court of Appeal overturned the decision of the trial judge. In 2019, the Court of Appeal in 2019 held that material and information prior to the 30th of May 2007 could not be obtained on foot of a search and seizure warrant issued under Section 115 of POCA. As a result, the Court of Appeal ordered that any documents which predated the 30th of May 2007 and which had been seized by Detective Sergeant Bobette Smalling, who is the appellant, upon execution of the warrant, must be returned forthwith to the first respondent, Dawn Satterswaite, and Janet Ramsey and Paulette Higgins, the second and third respondents. This is the background. The appellant, Bobette Smalling, is a detective sergeant of police assigned to MOCA. MOCA is a branch of JCF that targets major criminals and their facilitators. For the purposes of Part 6 of MOCA, headed investigations, the appellant, that's the detective sergeant, Bobette Smalling, is both an authorized financial investigator and an appropriate officer. Then they talk about one Andrew Hamilton. Mr. Andrew Hamilton says the decision, AH, was suspected by the US DEA of involvement in drug and arms trafficking in the US, as well as money laundering in the US and Jamaica. He's been convicted in the US twice. Let me take a break and come back.
Show your love with the Suavitel Superior Care long-lasting fragrance with the Suave.
Available 24 local this November with DJ
Radio Jamaica, active.
MOCA.
You're now listening to Emily Shields Talk with Substance on Hotline. Radio Jamaica, active for the good of our nation.
Yes, I'm looking at this decision touching and concerning Jamaica and the MOCA and POCA, Major Organized Crime and Corruption Agency, and the Proceeds of Crime Act. This is massive. So the Privy Council talks about Andrew Hamilton. Andrew Hamilton was suspected by the US DEA of involvement in drugs and arms trafficking in the US, as well as money laundering in the US and Jamaica. He's been convicted in the US twice. In 1998, he was convicted for drug trafficking offense, served 1 year in prison. Subsequently, 10th of February 2012, he was indicted on charges of drug trafficking and money laundering offenses. Arrested in the U.S. on 9th of March 2012, pleaded guilty on 22nd October 2012 to 2 counts on the indictment involving drug trafficking and conspiracy to launder money. In relation to Andrew Hamilton, let me just make sure that if I have to, they call him AH for short. So, in relation to Andrew Hamilton, DEA investigators have informed the appellant, and the appellant, as I said to you, is Bobette Smalling, who is a detective sergeant with MOCA. So DEA told MOCA that on February 2010, US $637,000 and 2,600 or so pounds of ganja seized from AH during a narcotics transaction with an unidentified Hispanic male known only as Chad. 16 July 2010, US $709,000 seized from AH when he had 2 boxes of money shipped from New York and 1 box of money shipped from Georgia to Irvine in California. 20th of July 2010, US $10,000 seized from Andrew Hamilton, they call him AH, when a search warrant was executed on his apartment in Irvine, California. 13th of October 2011, US $10,543 seized from Andrew Hamilton following a vehicle stop. 8th of November 2011, US $40,000 seized from Andrew Hamilton following execution of search warrant at one of his apartments in California. 12th of March 2012, US 174,000 seized from Andrew Hamilton after his arrest and execution of a search warrant at his residence in Georgia. Accordingly, it's understood that over US 1.5 million and 2,672 pounds of marijuana had been seized from Andrew Hamilton by the DEA. In our own February 2010, FID of the Ministry of Finance and Public Service commenced an investigation into Andrew Hamilton's ownership of assets in Jamaica. Since December 10, the FID, MOCA, and DEA have been conducting joint investigations into the suspected money laundering of Andrew Hamilton's criminal property. Those investigations have involved Andrew Hamilton and certain of his associates, including among others the first respondent, Don Satterthwaite, an attorney at law who's acted for Andrew Hamilton and for his relatives and close friends since in or around 2002. Andrew Hamilton's sisters, Pauline Higgins and Janet Ramsey, the second and third respondents respectively, have also been investigated. The agencies suspected that AH was laundering criminal property by sending substantial amounts of cash to Jamaica to purchase real estate in his name or in the name of his company, Andrew Hamilton Construction Limited, or in the name of one of his relatives, so that by December 2013, he effectively owned real estate in Jamaica with an estimated value of approximately $319 million, together with other real estate with an estimated value of US $300,000. The agencies also suspected that he was laundering criminal property by using his company, Andrew Hamilton Construction Limited, to purchase and import into Jamaica assets such as heavy-duty tractors, motor vehicles, and parts with a total value of $61 million, as well as a fishing vessel, the Sir Jack. Oh yeah, this is the day of the Jack 1 and Sir Jack. Now the application for search and seizure warrant. By a without notice application dated 16 December 2013, the appellant, this is the police with MOCA, sought a search and seizure warrant pursuant to Section 115B of POCA to search specified premises, including the home and the law office of the first respondent, that's Don Satterthwaite, and the homes of the second and third respondents, and to seize listed material such as records of transactions which involved Andrew Hamilton or various named associates of Andrew Hamilton. The listed material included the lawyer's conveyancing files in relation to various properties set out in Tables 1 and 2 of the police's affidavit supporting the application. Table 1 provides details in relation to the purchase of various properties that have been retained, whilst Table 2 provides details in respect of various properties that were purchased and then subsequently sold or purportedly sold. In the affidavit of the appellant, that's a police's affidavit, there are set out various matters as providing reasonable grounds for believing the respondents, to include the lawyer and the two siblings of Andrew Hamilton, were part of a group of persons who had committed money laundering offenses in relation to the proceeds of Andrew Hamilton's drug trafficking. There has been no replying affidavit from any of the respondents. As a result, the matters set out in the appellant's affidavit are unchallenged. In her affidavit, the appellant, remember the appellant is the police attached to MOCA, sets out information in paragraphs 5 to 7 above, which is what I just read. She states that Andrew Hamilton and his relatives have acquired and retained properties set out in Table 1 estimated at a value of Jamaican $319 million, together with other real estate estimated at US $300,000, and acquired properties in Table 2 without being in receipt of any sufficient legitimate income to be able to afford the purchases, all of which were made without any financing, as evidenced by certificates of title. In other words, if you look at the title, there are no charges registered for mortgages or anything. They were paid for cash. The court continues, to demonstrate that Andrew Hamilton could not afford to purchase the properties based on any legitimate income, the police attached to MOCA details the business interests of Hamilton and income. The police states that Andrew Hamilton is majority shareholder in the construction company incorporated in Jamaica, which was and remains dormant in relation to any legitimate commercial activity. In support of this, the appellant police refers to company's annual income tax returns for 05 to 04 to 09 and 2010, and those show nil income received by the company and nil tax paid. The police appellant also states that Andrew Hamilton is a majority shareholder in Andrenham Seafoods Company Limited, a company incorporated in Jamaica in 2008, which she, the police states, was and remains dormant in relation to any legitimate commercial activity. In relation to Andrew Hamilton's income, the police appellant states that his income tax returns over the period 1982 to 2010 declared a total income of Jamaican $184,000 and that he's paid $27,000 Jamaican in tax over the period 2005 to 11. Accordingly, the police appellant states that Andrew Hamilton's income was insufficient to acquire and retain the properties or to acquire the properties in Table 2. Further, it is submitted that none of the respondents in seeking to oppose the search and seizure have sought to establish that Andrew Hamilton had sufficient legitimate income to purchase any of the properties. To demonstrate that Andrew Hamilton's relatives could not afford to purchase the properties from any legitimate income, the police appellant sets out details as to their employment. The appellant states that the four of Andrew Hamilton's relatives named in the affidavit appear on the database held by the Ministry of Labour for the period 82 to 2010. The total amount earned by those four over the entire period ranges from a mere Jamaican $8,000 for Anne Marie Clary to $8 million for Paulette Higgins. Apparently, the appellant states that Andrew Hamilton's relatives' income, accordingly, she states that the relatives' income was insufficient to acquire and retain the properties in Table 1 or to acquire the properties in Table 2. Further, it is submitted that none of the respondents in seeking to oppose the search and seizure warrant have sought to establish that Andrew Hamilton's relatives did have sufficient legitimate income to purchase any of the properties. And the decision goes on. Let me skip down now to 20. Let me go to a break and come back.
Today is a good day to plant a tree. Get tree seedlings at the Forestry Department to plant and contribute to Jamaica's effort to plant 3 million trees in 3 years. The time courtesy of the Forestry Department is now 11:30.
Every dollar counts, and you can invest no matter how small. BPM Financial is there to show you just how. Tune in every Thursday at 11:45 a.m. during the Hotline for Money Talk. Learn how to make wise investment decisions for the best returns. Let's talk about money management and more on Money Talk. Brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher. Money Talk, Thursday mornings at 11:45.
This is your Radio Jamaica. You're now listening to Emily Shields Talk with Substance on Hotline. Radio Jamaica, active for the good of our nation.
Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. This decision coming from the Privy Council in relation to Jamaica, in relation to poker, and in relation to seizure too of conveyancing documents from an attorney's office and what the Privy Council has held. So it's a sort of longish judgment, 27 pages, but I'm trying to extract some relevant portions and to give it some substance because I think it is so crucial. So skipping over some paragraphs now, in relation to 2 of the other properties listed in Table 2. So all these properties were acquired and they were purportedly sold, says the Privy Council, to overseas persons. So they say in relation to two of the other properties listed in Table 2 which had purportedly been sold to overseas persons, the police appellant states that in December 2013 these properties were occupied by tenants. The police appellant recounts that an occupant of one of those properties stated that they had not met or dealt with the owners of the property, but that they were paying rent to the first respondent attorney, either directly or by payment into a bank into her name or through persons acting as her agents, namely her mother, Gloria Satterthwaite, and her husband, Terence Allen. The appellant relies on this as further evidence that the sale of these properties was a sham to conceal Andrew Hamilton's criminal property. The appellant police also state that she believes that 3 of the properties listed in Table 2 were purportedly sold to the same overseas persons, and yet the signatures on 2 of the 3 instruments of transfer appear to be inconsistent. The appellant relies on this as further evidence that the sale of these properties was a sham to conceal Andrew Hamilton's criminal property. The appellant asserts her belief that the purported sale of the properties listed in Table 2 was prompted by seizures in the U.S. which commenced in February 2010. The appellant police believes the purported sales were an attempt by Andrew Hamilton to conceal his ownership of the properties and thereby avoid their confiscation in Jamaica. Similarly, the appellant police believes that the sale of the fishing vessel Sir Jack on the 23rd of March 2012 to Mr. Albert Charles Williams for US $500,000 after A.H. was arrested on the 9th of March 2012 was an effort to conceal ownership of Andrew Hamilton's criminal properties. Mr. Williams is believed to be one of Andrew Hamilton's overseas associates. The police appellant's affidavit sets out further evidence to support her belief that the properties in Tables 1 and 2 were acquired with money generated by A.H.'s drug trafficking. The appellant police identifies a bank account at Scotia Investments Limited, former DB&G, held in the name of Satterthwaite client account / Andrew Hamilton, which she believes was used to receive amounts in cash brought in Jamaica by Anne-Marie Clary. The appellant sets out in Table 5 the travel pattern of Anne-Marie Clary, giving details as to the date upon which she returned to Jamaica, the dates and amounts credited to the account. The appellant police states that a financial institution is not compelled to report to FID transaction below the threshold amount of US $50,000, and Table 5 shows that amounts less than $50,000 were lodged to the account and that these coincided in time with the name Anne-Marie Clary returning to Jamaica. The appellant police believes that Anne-Marie Clary brought those amounts in cash from the US, deposited them in the account, and that the first respondent, that's the attorney, as a joint account holder of the account, remained in control of criminal property in the account. Furthermore, that money in the account was transferred to other accounts held by the first respondent attorney, including a client account held at Bank of Nova Scotia Jamaica Limited, which the appellant police believes was the primary conveyancing account being used by the first respondent attorney to do her business for Andrew Hamilton and his associates. The appellant police also identifies another account held by the first respondent attorney, which she believes from the pattern of lodgements to be the account to receive rental payments in relation to the properties, the subject of sham sales to overseas persons. Then they go on to this ground or reasonable ground for believing the first respondent attorney has committed a money laundering offense. In summary, the appellant police's affidavit asserts that the first respondent attorney was involved as the attorney at law in 29 property transactions set out in Tables 1 and 2, which are alleged to have been funded by cash generated by A.H. drug trafficking, with the cash being brought into Jamaica by Anne-Marie Clary and then deposited in an account under the control of the first respondent attorney. Thereafter, it is the appellant police's belief that the criminal property was concealed by the first respondent attorney under the device of registering the properties in the names of A.H.'s relatives. It is also asserted that the first respondent attorney has concealed A.H.'s criminal property by conducting sham sales in Table 2 to overseas persons and thereafter receiving rent from some of these properties into another account under her control. And it goes on. Yes, so you get the whole gist of what the decision, the facts surrounding the decision as averred in the affidavit of the police. In her judgment, delivered on the 17th September 2015, the judge ordered that all material be unsealed and examined by the court whether or not it came into existence prior to the 30th of May 2007, so that the court could finally decide whether the documents in whole or part should be returned to the attorney on account of being covered by legal professional privilege. On the 1st of October 2015, the attorney filed a notice on grounds of appeal in which he challenged the order of Justice Straw. And the notice was amended, and the amended notice signed by the First Respondents Council then, and skeleton submissions also provided. And on the 16th of November 2016, the second and third respondents, these are the families now of AH, gave notice of their application to intervene in the appeal in November 2016. The Court of Appeal heard the appeal against the order of Justice Straw, and at the hearing, the first respondent, who is the attorney, appeared in person, though with the benefit of the notice of appeal, amended the notice and skeleton argument, all drafted by her senior counsel. And Mr. Ian Wilkinson, QC Lenore Stewart, instructed by Wilkinson Law, appeared on her behalf, and so forth. Mr. Wilkinson advanced arguments at the appeal, not only on behalf of the second and third respondent, but also in support of the first respondent attorney. And so the decision was delivered on the 20th of December 2019 now, in which the Court of Appeal held that any documents that predated the coming into force of POCA on the 30th of May could not have been lawfully seized by MOCA and therefore had to be returned without proper examination. Yeah? So, the bottom line is the Court of Appeal, the Privy Council, has now overturned the decision of the Court of Appeal, and I'm looking for a paragraph which I saw, paragraph 86 in my skimming, that paragraph 86 that says the board also considers that the public interest condition, obviously public interest set out in POCA, is satisfied as there are reasonable grounds for believing that it is in the public interest for the information or material to be obtained having regard to the benefit likely to accrue to the investigation if the information or material is obtained. On the facts of this case, the public interest in the prevention of crime clearly outweighs any rights to respect for private and family life. You hear this? On the facts of this case, the public interest in the prevention of crime clearly outweighs any rights to respect for private and family life. The board considers that there are reasonable grounds for believing that there is likely to be a substantial benefit to the investigation if the information or material is obtained. There is no restriction either on the investigative power in POCA or on that power's application to the facts of this case, such as to prevent the search for and the seizure of information or material which came into existence prior to the 30th of May 2007. Justice Straw was correct to hold that paragraph 44 of her judgment that there was no basis to limit the documents that may possibly be unsealed to what exists post 2007. So it seems to me, without having the chance of full reading of this decision, that the Privy Council in paragraph 86 is saying that on the facts of this case, public interest for the information to be obtained having regard to the benefit of the investigation based on the material to be obtained, that public interest in the prevention of crime outweighs any rights to respect for private and family life. This is massive. Yeah? Absolutely massive, especially within the context of some of the discussions we're having here. This is massive. It is obvious. They say at 83 that there are reasonable grounds for believing that the first respondents' conveyancing files in relation to all the property transactions listed in tables 1 and 2 are likely to be of substantial value to the investigation, even though particular transactions occurred prior to 30th of May 2007. This is because there are reasonable grounds for believing that the files will contain information as to A, the identity of the first respondent's clients, B, the source of funds to purchase the property, and C, the respondent's knowledge. Furthermore, information or material in the files may be admissible at trial under the principle derived from the judgment in the Queen, Den, and Petman, or as evidence tending to establish mens rea in respect of the offences under POCA alleged to be committed by the respondents. Further indications that there are reasonable grounds for believing that information or material is likely to be of substantial value to the investigation concern bank account details, documents relating to legitimate income, communication from overseas person, communication with tenants, documents in relation to AH's companies, and document relating to Sir Jack. For all these reasons, the board considers that the substantial value condition is satisfied. No. This shall have some serious, far-reaching implications for the operation of POCA on attorneys too, but I have to go to Money Talk. Thank you, listeners. We're back with you on the hotline. I think I found the clincher to this case in the break skimming through. I'll get to that after. I'll get me some X and Y. I think we need a jingle for X and Y.
Jingle?
XX. Don't bother fret. Y. Don't bother try.
Okay then. No, but I forget a little bit with the XX.
Don't bother vex. Dear.
You spent some time this morning on the Privy Council website, and while you were there and reading through some of those judgments, I was saying, well, I wonder if you ever hear about the two thief the calendar, the one calendar.
The almanac?
Almanac calendar.
Radio Jamaica?
No, another one that ain't thief.
How could I want one thief, so? Any other?
Then just thief one calendar.
The one
the two thief, yeah.
Oh, me think of two them thief.
No, man, two thief, just thief one calendar.
One with one sheet? With January to December on one sheet, or different sheet for different months?
As to whether or not a different sheet for different month, me don't know. Me just know that the two thief, them thief one calendar, and the judgment that was handed down.
Judgment was handed down? That's what I wonder. If it's one sheet, I wonder how them cut it.
I try to figure, I don't know, one, them get 6 months each. That was the judgment.
A Solomon and the baby. A Solomon, half and half.
Half and half.
Then they cut it straight down the middle, so.
I don't know about them get 6 months each.
Spill the blood.
6 months each. That was the judgment handed down.
Now, Didi, that one is sold out. 6 months.
6 months.
Judge Dredd, shut up.
Hold on there. You sure you can see me though? Head man dazzle.
No, man, me not see, man, because the head that must have dazzle.
Yeah, the head that dazzle, yeah, no.
Shining light. That head of yours. Didi?
What kind of trim you get now? Stay home?
It look like, you know, what my grandfather used to do. Brother Max say, God versus stole. When him eat fish, him used to wipe his hand in his head.
Fish?
Yes.
What kind of fish? Saltfish?
Fried fish. Head shine like I don't know what. So all I'm seeing now is my reflection.
Oh, hold on.
In your head.
Your grandfather was bald-headed? Or
he had a little bit of hair there, but not when he got to a certain age. Most of the hair gone from the top.
The front receded?
Yes, and wipe it all over. So the front part,
polish it.
Hair,
polish it.
Polish. So I want to know what is going on in your head.
Well, when I was going to school, if I got a trim like this, you know what them call that?
And played drum in the head. What them call it?
Well, first of all, was called stay home. There is a stay home trim because you can't go up on the road looking like this.
The Montel.
And no, bald head was not a thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
No. When I was going to school, people who were bald-headed would always be seen in cap. You would never ever see them.
We would beat them in the head. We'd play drum in the head like that.
Well, I don't know.
Because sometimes you have some people who say them a barber and cut the hair and put all sorts of row in it. And the people then say, better you ball off the head, yeah, man.
All right. So you had some under tree barber.
Out of under bed.
Well, no, they wouldn't see clearly. But there were some barbers who were under tree barbers. So every Sunday, they perhaps would try to cut the hair of most of the boys in the community.
Yes.
And they would get a chair. I don't know if you remember the dinner set, the dining table they call dinner set. So they would get one of those chairs, they take it from out of the hall. And they would put it under the tree, and most of the boys in the community now would come get their trim, their hair cut. Kill him dead, he must top class barber, you know. And believe me, for the most part, every single one of those boys had what them call not cornrow, but cane row.
Yeah.
You understand what cane row? Because the trenches were deep and wide.
Deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Deep and, you know that song?
Yes, we used to sing it at school.
Wide and deep. Where's your cane row?
Cane row.
I'll snake in there.
And mangoes.
Mangoes? Don't have a snake.
Snake and mangoes are fight.
Yeah.
But then there was some decent hairstyle because you had some persons who had some kind of skill along that line, and they would do different hairstyles like Tony C, brush top, and I think for the most part though, most persons used to be soul.
Soul?
So, yeah, soul.
How high?
As high as their hair could grow. Because some of them hair couldn't grow, you know.
Really?
No, so now I get more than about maybe half inch long.
Half inch tall. Because our hair grow up.
It grow up, though. Half inch tall.
But them not eat right.
Eh?
Not eat right for the hair grow.
No, it's like some people, no matter how much food they eat, they never get fat.
And thyroid overactive.
That too.
Metabolic
and sometimes the thyroid is good, but it's just hereditary.
Yeah, why me couldn't inherit that?
I would love to inherit that too.
Oi. No. So get back to the story. What happened to your head? Why are you shining like that?
Oh, I was trying to go back to them days there. I want to stay home.
Right now.
So you get a trim like this, come out of the house, you stay home until it grow back. Until it grow back.
You remember a Boys to Men? Way back. Back in time. No, talk the truth, why? You cut the hair and don't cut the hair properly.
No, man.
You bald it down. No. Or you start to get bald.
Not yet. I cry, me that cry.
The only time I see somebody's head so shine is when you're literally losing hair.
No, well, I was just crying, not bald. I was crying, yeah.
Dry cry. Yeah. Dry cry.
But how about the ladies now? What kind of hairstyle they used to wear when people were getting Tony C and
no, we don't care, no.
Oh man, in them days they are pure Shirley Bassey and Millie Small hairstyle they want, man.
Yeah.
Get to take out the fork and straighten hair to get fluffy curl and that kind of thing.
That's true. Straighten comb.
No, not straighten comb. Because straighten comb was different from the fork.
Yeah, that's true. But I grew up when straighten comb come in. And
straighten comb, they call it iron comb.
We call it straighten comb.
Well, they used to call it iron comb or hot comb.
Yeah, hot comb too. So you literally put it on the fire and you'd have a piece of newspaper there.
Yes.
And also a piece of cloth. And I tell you what, is the same thing them develop now. So you see, when you go to hair salons, it's so interesting because first time at hair salons, people rarely use hot iron on hair. You'll get your hair nicely shampooed, you sit under this dryer everlasting. You dry out your hair, dry out your brain. It's so hot. It's a dreadful thing,
Cook your brain, fry your brain.
Like a marrow. You ever eat marrow?
No.
But you know what it's like? It's literally the brain of the animal.
It is.
Yeah, so all the white matter. You never eat it yet?
Also, I perhaps might have eaten the fish one. Fish have brain?
You like fish head?
I've had a lot of fish head.
You take the eye like a tablet?
Yes. But then I used to tell yourself eat fish head to get bright.
But you don't know what kind of brain fish have. Fish have brain. Never hear anybody say fish have brain yet.
You never heard that if you eat fish head, you'd be very bright?
Oh, well.
My grandmother decided to give me all of the fish head then.
Well, that may be true because...
It never worked.
No, Miss Cora is very bright and she loves fish head.
She loves fish, okay.
She's very bright, so that may... In fact, I'm going to start eating fish head, No, but, so, what we did back in the days, when you have a lovely shampoo, the stylists then could just brush the hair and comb it out and you have a beautiful style and you walk out. But nowadays they use the the blow dryer to blow out the roots, take out the roller marks, and then turn around and use hot iron, which is really an electric stove, which is a movement away from the coal stove or the fire that we used to use, and straighten we hair.
So, I know your brain burn up.
I know you burn up. But then the funny thing about the straightening hair back then, by the time dew fall in your head, everything gone back to natural.
Well, those who had straightened hair would avoid water. They wouldn't allow any rain to fall on them.
I think even now as well, if you have natural hair, because a lot of people have gone back to natural, but they can still get the straight look by doing the curling iron thing.
But they used to cut to, women used to cut to get the style, that kind of really small look.
Oh, yes.
I remember people were beating the Millie Small and the Shirley Bassey, sort of fluffy curl and that kind of wrap around the front of the head, something like that.
We used to have beautiful hairstyles. I mean, we certainly we're not allowed in the country to get relaxed hair until 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, when you could manage it.
Yeah, graduation from school, and then you would have to make sure you can take care of it. But nowadays, all the style them you see a cut, you know what go on there? Wig it is.
Wig. Before we forget, because this man I hear with Marley Gripe and Fluxy complain. Every time I hear that, I wonder, what is Marley Gripe and Fluxy complain? I've so often heard that while I was growing up. Boy, man, you have Marley Gripe and Fluxy complain, and I never ever able to find out what is Marley Gripe and Fluxy complain.
Can I tell you something? The only way I can tell you is shine head. When you get it, you will know.
Well, I think in reference to Marley Gripe and Fluxy complain, there was always a connection with being craven.
Yes.
So you just love to eat everything.
Yes.
And I said, boy, you soon have Marley Gripe and Fluxy complain.
Yeah.
And sometimes they would have cuss you and say, you look like somebody will have Marley Gripe and Fluxy complain.
Right. And that's when you have to go put lamp oil on your navel. But no, I think it's when you have something, the name, and sometimes even the symptoms are so confused and mixed up till you don't know what to call it. It doesn't feel right. Well, colic has to do with sort of an upset stomach from eating too many things.
Yeah.
Like if you jackfruit.
So not that at the Marley Gripe.
Jackfruit,
well, I don't know,
tin mackerel, cherry malt.
Hold on. Jackfruit, tin mackerel, cherry malt, ripe banana.
Yeah.
Syrup.
Right.
Strawberry syrup.
And I'll go flick kin popalik. Then you get colic.
So you're craving. You have wanga gut.
Yes. But if you didn't know such thing and this thing comes upon you that is sort of inexplicable and you just feel out of it. Anytime you get it, you will message me to say, X.
I get Marley Gripe and I won't know.
MGFC. Marley Gripe. Fluxy complaint. That's X and Y. Yeah, I'll just tell you briefly that I think what the nub of this case is this. The Privy Council sets out the interplay between the Money Laundering Act and the Proceeds of Crime Act. So the Proceeds of Crime Act repeals the Money Laundering Act. But what the court says is that there is an interplay between them, and there is a provision in the Interpretation Act that saves the punishment sections of the Money Laundering Act. So even though POCA repealed the Money Laundering Act, if POCA doesn't specifically says that it is repealing the punishment sections under the Money Laundering Act, then those sections survive the repeal of the Money Laundering Act by POCA. So it says under Section 25(2) of the Interpretation Act, it's a saving provision generally applicable to acts of Parliament in Jamaica, insofar as it provides that where any act repeals any other enactment, then unless the contrary intention appears, the repeal shall not affect any penalty, fine, forfeiture, or punishment incurred in respect of any offence committed against any enactment so repealed, or affect any investigation, legal proceedings, or remedy in respect of any such right, privilege, obligation, liability, penalty, fine, forfeiture, or punishment as aforesaid, and any such investigation, legal proceeding, or remedy may be instituted, continued, or enforced, and any such penalty, fine, forfeiture, or punishment may be imposed as if the repealing act had not been passed. Consequently, investigations or proceedings in respect of offences committed under the repealed Money Laundering Act are not affected by its repeal, except if there is a contrary intention in the repealing act. What a decision this is. Let me tell you something. I'm imagining the reach of this, and it is wide. It is wide. Right. This is the hotline, 8631. Hello. Good afternoon.
Morning.
I mixed somebody up for you this morning, you know.
Me hear you, man.
Somebody called, sound like you the first time. It's a wait.
Let me come off 5 busy.
Oreo. Oreo. Get ready to go.
Yeah, I just come down.
Yes, come, give me 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yes, come, you only have
8 minutes.
No, but me not spend all the 8 with you. Come, quick,
okay.
Talk up to me, come, me dainty.
Me know, man. So I go and me send them around to talk to you, know, because the work busy, me busy on the job, you know.
Yeah, that's very good.
Busy till me can't busy no more.
Money I run.
Not run yet. I'm a boss, I can check up the bills for me tomorrow. Yeah, because we have do some, what am I asking for do? Some square foot. Yeah. And then go and break it down in a cubic yard. Yeah.
But break it down in a what?
Cubic.
Oh, cubic yard.
Yeah.
So you're not gone metric yet?
Miss Emily, in teach me one time, but you know, so easy to go from that to cubic, you know. Now go back
to meter?
Yeah.
You just young man like you attack yard.
But no, my members are yard measure wall.
Me know, but you have to be able to move out. You have to digital, you know, because normal a lie.
Kachiata lie.
Kachiata lie. What is this Kachiata lie business? Oh boy. Yes.
Look a while ago, me here Mr. DP on the X.
On the X and what?
Miss Emily. You don't realize that the credit done.
For you?
Of course. You know what I could have done.
What a shame. Make the boss come in, come add up the cubic yard there, man.
Dujan, or you come measure up to work, yeah, man.
Dujan measure up? Dujan?
Or you come measure up to work, yeah.
I'm a little brethren.
We don't know if I have a brethren.
Oh, I may have a brethren, Dujan. Come measure up the work, make it central, get pay your car credit done.
Credit done, Mr.
All right. Go buy some credit.
But I can mash up.
Well, if you not credit, you can't get visa.
Then I don't know that.
What a shame. You have to go get visa if you go to your country. Dujan, have a great day, East Central. Money done, 2178. Hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. Shields.
Hi, John. How are you?
Not doing bad. I want to talk to you about something here which I have noticed that the media has not taken up. And your program this morning was right on point. And I think it's about time that people who are elected to govern and stop blaming other people for their incompetence.
Oh.
But Mr. Shields, a couple of Sundays ago, at a conference in Clarendon, that's Clarendon, St. Catherine, Mr. Warmington went on stage, and among many things, he said something which is very important here, and I believe that the General Secretary of the Jamaica Labour Party, the Chairman of the Jamaica Labour Party, and the Prime Minister should have looked into this matter. He said that he could have gone to a community and fixed some roads, But the people were there protesting saying take 2 years for him go. Isn't that abuse of power, Mr. Shields? Isn't the man telling us that he blatantly sabotaged these people because they were protesting about the roads?
Well, sabotage may be a strong word, but I understand.
But if you can tell me, if you have spent taxpayer money, and you can tell me that because people that protested take 2 years before you go there, I don't hear me that talk about it.
Well,
I don't hear one journalist, opinion.
No,
talk about it.
Because you don't hear it, it doesn't mean it hasn't been talked about. I certainly heard Prof. Monroe talking with Dion about it on Beyond the Headlines.
Well, Mr. Shields, things like these must be highlighted more.
Oh.
Because a minister of government with spending taxpayer money, that is why him could tell the people at Troy between Manchester and Trelawney that a film bridge alone fix. So because them have McNice and Michael Fliss in Parliament talking about it, that is the reason why. He's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
This man is an animal and he's not fit for Parliament. And the Prime Minister, if we do not hear anything with the Prime Minister by now and Tuesday, that the Prime Minister, that means that the Prime Minister is a party to it.
No, you can't say that. And all of us are animals. All humans are animals.
A different type of animal with the shields.
Only of a higher class. So don't extend your argument any further. You've made the point.
With the shields?
You've made the point.
I need to hear the Prime Minister, because I want to know if this is type of politics that is Jamaican part of the government is using the people of Jamaica. Because we have noticed in about 3-4 months now coming up that whenever you say anything at all bad about the government, you are labeled unpatriotic, you are sidelined in certain ways.
But you are unpatriotic.
And why would you say that?
You are only happy when your government is in power. You don't love this country. What you love is a PNP controlled Jamaica. That is the locus classicus of unpatriotism. That is you.
Before I go to the shield, in 2018, the Prime Minister went to 2017, the Prime Minister went to Parliament and said that his government is going to build every year 1,000 a social house and a social housing program. So I said 2 years was COVID and we have a hard time, so we couldn't build no house. To date, it was 108 house bill. We need to know what is the reason.
Didn't you hear him asking more developers to enter into the guaranteed purchase agreement with NHT?
No, I mean, that's about what I'm asking. No, he said in 2017.
No, I hear what you say.
Government.
But understand what I'm saying. Understand. What he's realized is that it is impossible.
Oh.
It is impossible for the number of houses needed to be built without the involvement of private developers.
You said that with the shield because this Jamaican part of the government promised so much things, but them know them can't fulfill it.
Well, make sure the PNP doesn't fall in that.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Shield, the PNP government, Adam Golden is going to remove the need for a grant tour to get student loan and many more things.
If that is where you are started, in the mess that the country is in, you are going for low-hanging fruit. That's not going to make much of a dent.
No. These things are going to make poor people pitney. Able to go to university, get higher learning to develop the country. That is the thing we see. The human capital is what the PNP is going to invest into.
So what you're going to do at the end of it, when they get the education, they leave, go to some other country as happens now, because it's not because of any political party why people stay here. And the loan is not repaid and the SLB goes out of...
No, Mr. The government is going to invest in the people.
Okay.
That is the thing. We're going to invest in our people. We're going to put stipulation where people, people going to pay back the money. People going to love to pay it back. Because of the caring government that the PNP going to be. I would love we can this if I don't call it tomorrow.
All right. Take care. Yeah. That is all the time we have for the program today. Come through, shine it with a tune. You've got to, what is it? Rise, step up in life and go for what you know. Shine it, sing that? Eh? Two life crews here, shine it, sing it. Go on, sing shine it. The wine my X and Y. DT head shine. I see everything we are going in a thing now.